Princess Among and the Rise of Tzurokho, the Devourer of Time, the prophecy of the end. For years, Princess Among of Nagaland had fought against the forces that sought to plunge the land into darkness. She had battled Vakars, the Abyssborn, whose legions of shadow sought to consume the living. She had stood against Morak Kun, the sorcerer tyrant, whose ancient spells nearly shattered the balance of the world. But nothing could prepare her for what was coming. Deep in the sacred cavern of stars where the spirits of the past whispered to the shamans, the Skywatcher elder, Tenzin, beheld a vision unlike any other. A great storm of shadow and fire raged across the land. Warriors turned to dust. Rivers boiled into nothingness. And standing amidst the ruin, cloaked in an aura of pure void, was a being older than time itself. Tzurokho, the Devourer of Time. Its eyes burned violet, its form shifting between monstrous shapes, and its voice was a symphony of all the horrors ever spoken. Then came the final words of the prophecy. When the 3 seals break, no sword nor fire shall hold back Tzurokho. Only the wielder of the lost light can rewrite fate itself. Among had faced the Abyssborn. She had vanquished the sorcerer tyrant, but this would be a battle unlike any before. Because this time she was fighting time itself, and time was running out. A fracture in the seal, deep beneath Mount Carmel, where the last remnants of Morak Kun's shattered power still lingered, the first seal, the very barrier that kept Tzurokho trapped, began to crack. A sinister pulse radiated through the mountains, rivers, forests, and valleys of Nagaland. The air grew colder. Shadows stretched unnaturally long. The veil between the living and the lost was thinning. In the farthest reaches of the whispering forest, where spirits murmured their ancient secrets, Princess Among stood, her fireblade of the ancients strapped across her back, her heart heavy with unease. Beside her, Zulu, her shape-shifting hornbill, flapped his mighty wings, his golden eyes watching the horizon. "The land is changing," Zulu said, his voice filled with uncharacteristic seriousness. "I feel something waking." "Then we move," Among said, swinging onto Tula's back. "We must find the seals before they break." And so the journey began. The Guardian of the Storm, the first seal. Their path led them to the floating peaks of Zungru, where the legendary Stormbearer guarded the first seal. These were no ordinary mountains. They hovered in the sky, connected by ancient stone bridges, eternally wreathed in mist and lightning. As they ascended, a thunderous roar echoed through the peaks. A colossal storm serpent, made of wind and crackling with lightning, slithered through the clouds. It coiled around the peak, its eyes 2 swirling storms, and its voice rumbled like rolling thunder. "I am Vaishura, guardian of the first seal," the serpent declared. "Who dares enter my domain?" Among stood firm. "I am Princess Among of Nagaland. Tzurokho stirs. I must protect the seals." The serpent's stormy eyes narrowed. "Then prove your worth. Face the trial of the sky." The clouds around them darkened and the wind roared. The trial of the sky. A whirlwind erupted around, Among, Tula, and Zulu. The sky turned into a battlefield of lightning and howling winds. Zulu, shifting mid-air, became a great eagle with golden wings, soaring through the storm, dodging the bolts of lightning hurled by the serpent. Among leaped across floating stone platforms as the wind tried to throw her into the abyss. The serpent struck with a blast of thunder, but Zulu shifted into a shadow panther, grabbing Among in mid-air before she could fall. "You better start flying soon," he growled. "I have a better idea." Among hurled the Fireblade into the storm clouds, channeling its flame into pure light. The blade absorbed the energy of the storm, glowing with the fire of the heavens. She caught it mid-air and, with one powerful swing, sliced through the storm itself. The winds calmed, the serpent bowed, and the sky cleared. "You have passed," Vaishura said, "but beware, the second seal is already weakening." As the first seal strengthened, Amang felt something in her soul shift. This was only the beginning. The ruins of the moon, the second seal. Their next destination was the lost ruins of Lunakar, where the Moonkeeper, guardian of the second seal, awaited. But something was wrong. As they neared the ruins, dark figures emerged from the shadows. Warriors unlike anything Amang had ever seen. Figures of living void, wrapped in chains of midnight, their eyes burning with an eerie purple fire. "They are the harbingers of Tzurokho," Zulu warned. One of them stepped forward, its voice like shattered glass. "Princess Amang," it whispered, "you cannot stop what is already written." Then they attacked. Battle of the Moonlit Ruins. Zulu, shifting into a tiger made of starlight, tore through the harbingers, his claws burning through their formless bodies. Tula charged through the battlefield, her hooves cracking the earth, sending shockwaves through their ranks. Amang's Fireblade burned hotter than ever, its flames carving through the shadows like the first light of dawn. But the harbingers did not fall. They simply reformed, as if the very darkness of the world sustained them. "We cannot kill them," Amang realized. "We need the light of the Moonkeeper." She charged up the ruins, dodging attacks, leaping from broken pillars. At the highest altar stood the Moonkeeper, a spectral being cloaked in silver light, holding the second seal. "I grant you my power, warrior of the Fireblade," the Moonkeeper said. The moonlight poured into Amang, and as she swung her sword again, it blazed with celestial energy. This time, when the Fireblade struck the harbingers, they screamed and were consumed by the light. The battle was won. The second seal was strengthened. But as the last harbinger faded, it whispered, "The Earthbinder is already falling. The final seal will break, and Tzurokho shall rise." Amang's blood ran cold. The true battle had yet to begin. The final seal, the awakening of Tzurokho. Far away, in the deep caves of Zulia, where the Earthbinder held the final seal, a sinister force pulsed through the land. The seal, once unbreakable, was now crumbling. And in the darkness beyond, a monstrous figure stirred. Tzurokho, the devourer of time, was waking. Amang, Zulu and Tula had one last chance to stop it. But was it already too late? To be continued. Will Amang reach the final seal in time? Can the Fireblade stop a power older than time itself? The greatest battle of Nagaland is about to begin.